This is a Louie Tee Network exclusive.
For those of you who don't know, I'm Louie Tee, host of the Louie Tee Network, and this is One Burning Question, a series that will take a look at all 32 teams in the National Football League and pose a question. Some teams will have micro questions where we look at the team in its current state and talk about what could potentially happen for them in this season, and some will take a macro approach where we kind of open up the lens a bit and take a step back and look at it from a wide view look and perspective and talk about where these franchises might be going in the future, not just this season, but moving forward. So I'll take a look at each and every single team, ask a burning question, answer that question, and move on to the next team. Thank you for joining me. Enjoy One Burning Question. Welcome to this In the Lab Room exclusive series, One Burning Question. I, of course, am your host, Louie Tee. Thank you for joining me on this program. We're talking America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, and their one burning question here in the Lab Room. And I think this season, more so than others, had to be frustrating for Cowboys fans. As bad as the NFC East was this season, you've been in ball games all year long. The defense was actually really good this season. It's funny because when the offense is really good, the defense isn't. Now that the offense isn't any good, the defense has been extraordinary this season, and the offense just hasn't been able to make the plays down the stretch to win ball games that the defense has been keeping the team in. So I think the injury to Tony Romo really has shined a light on the dire situation at quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys without Tony Romo in the lineup. And so that has me thinking and asking this one burning question. Is it time for the Cowboys to approach the quarterback position differently? And what I mean by that is, we know Tony Romo is still the guy in Dallas, and Jerry Jones is going to stand by Tony Romo, and a healthy Tony Romo is a dangerous Tony Romo. We're all aware of that. The question is, how often is Tony Romo healthy anymore? The last 2 out of 3 seasons, he hasn't finished the year, and that's a fact. He's been banged up. This team is paid because of his injuries. They're not a good enough team to win when he's not in the lineup. And so you look at the Cowboys and the way this thing is set up. This is a team right now, if you look at their talent on their football team, that if you put Tony Romo or any competent quarterback behind center, this team is a playoff team and a dangerous one at that. And so now you have to start asking yourself, we need to start preparing for life after Tony Romo. I think it's a necessity now. No more drafting Stephen McGee's or any of those type of quarterbacks. No more going out on the free agent market and scrapping the bottom of the barrel for a veteran like a Kyle Orton or Matt Castle or John Kitna. Those days are over, okay? It's time for the quarterback position to be approached differently, because you used to be able to get a backup quarterback and say, well, Tony's not going to get hurt. He's going to be in the lineup, and we'll just have this guy just in case of an emergency. Those days are over. It's not a matter of if, it's when Tony gets hurt now. And he's got so many different ailments. If it's not his collarbone and his clavicle, it's his back. If it's not his back, it's something else. It's his ribs. If it's not his ribs, it's his ankle. Whatever the case may be. Something's always wrong with Tony Romo. He's been battered and bruised. He's been in the league for quite some time now. He's getting up there in age. It's time for you to start addressing this quarterback position and looking at it vastly different, because I think what you need to start doing is preparing for the future before it's too late. And you need to start looking around. Robert Griffin III, hometown boy, going to be available. You've seen his talents. Maybe he has an awakening after being benched this season in favor of Kirk Cousins. He will not be back in Washington after this season. Does he fit what you're trying to do moving forward? Outside of trying to sell jerseys, we know about Jerry Jones and his love of the money in his ability to market his team, yeah, Robert Griffin III, you sent a bunch of 10 jerseys. You would sell a ton of 10 jerseys if he came to Dallas. You'd sell a bunch of 2 jerseys if Johnny Manziel came to Dallas. But at the end of the day, can these guys play quarterback efficiently and effectively for you? We're not talking about selling jerseys anymore. We're talking about winning football games. And that's what it's all about in this league. And can you find a guy that can pick up the mantle and take the torch from Tony Romo and put this Dallas Cowboys team back on the map? Because I think when Tony Romo's healthy, we know about what he brings to the table, but he's not healthy anymore. And so now you have to start looking at this position a little bit differently and not saying, okay, we got our quarterback, we don't need to focus on that. Maybe you do need to focus on the quarterback position. Maybe you do need to bring in some competition for Tony Romo. Maybe you do need to bring in a guy that even if he's not playing, he's grooming himself for the future so that when Tony Romo does go down or when Tony Romo's done, you have a guy already in-house that's been inside your system, playing inside the scheme for the last year and a half, 2 years, and he's ready to take the mantle and that throne and able to step in and his team doesn't miss a beat. But right now, the cast of characters you put under center has been comical. It's been a train wreck, and it's the reason why this Dallas Cowboys team is sitting at 4-10 right now with no shot at the postseason. And really, you're looking at the draft and you're saying, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to get the number 1 overall pick? Are we going to be top 5? Are we going to be top 10? Not used to seeing the Cowboys in that light, but at 4-10, that's where this team is this season. And you can point to one position, it's the quarterback position, that has them at 4-10 and nowhere in sight in a really bad NFC East division. So I'll ask the one burning question once more. Is it time for the Cowboys to approach the quarterback position differently? I think it is. I think we all know that the Cowboys love Tony Romo, and when he's healthy, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Nobody's arguing that point. We all understand what he brings to the table when he is healthy. The problem is he hasn't been healthy over the last 3 seasons consistently, and so it leaves this Cowboys team in a bind when he's not able to play. And this team is talented enough to make noise now. And so you got to start being able to take advantage of the talent that you have on this football team. And I think the quarterback position is holding you back right now. And so I think you may need to start looking at that position a little bit differently in the offseason and starting to be more aggressive at the quarterback position to give you a shot to play football, in meaningful football, in December and into January in the future years to come. That's the Dallas Cowboys. Their one burning question. I'm Louie Tee. See you next time.